Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast episode with TAF Solutions. I'm flying a little solo today. Name is Joe Wallace, of course, as you know. And look, we're going to talk a little bit differently today because something I've been paying a lot of attention to lately is not how businesses are getting attention, right? But how they're proving they're real. Because those are two very different things now. And honestly, getting attention is the easy part. But proving you're legit, that's where most businesses are struggling. So customers today, they're kind of way more skeptical than they used to be. And I don't think that's a bad thing. They've just kind of seen too much, right? Too many ads, too many polished brands, too many things that look good but don't hold up. Let's remember that people kind of double check just everything now. They make sure that when they see you online, even if they see an ad, right? They'll just sit there and go, okay, I see that this person does X, Y, and Z. Let's say fencing. They put up fences, right? Well, now they're going to go down the rabbit hole and check to see, well, do people like the fences you put up, right? Reputation. Do people actually put down? One second. I want to make sure I have no attention lost here, so I'm muting my phone. And of course, hey, or if they actually see you talking to somebody else online, oh, they're responsive, right? Things of that nature. Um, it's it's important to remember that no one takes marketing at face value. That's the key takeaway here, I think. And I think a lot of people nowadays, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and generative AI, deep fakes is what we used to call that, is I'll believe it when I see it kind of mentality. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. I think critical thinking is very important. But again, I think the most important thing that you can do with marketing nowadays is marketing needs to be used to create belief, right? Like it used to. But also, it needs to be able to trigger verification, validation, right? And those are things that I think a lot of people miss out on now. They haven't quite made that transition, or should I say, addition. You know, so the belief still needs to be there, but you also need to be legitimized by other factors, not the ad itself. Like if it's an ad, right? Or if you're in front of somebody, when you say, I do X, Y, and Z, great, they believe you that you do X, Y, and Z. But do you do it well? Should they pay you to do it? Anyone can say they can do something, right? So let's talk about what people actually do then. When they're thinking about doing business with you, how do they verify you, right? Well, let's go through some real behavior kind of looks. Let's do it in order, actually. Let's say number one, they're going to Google your name, right? They're going to go in, they're going to search for you, figure out if you're actually a legit business because you show up online. They're going to check reviews if they find you, right? And of course, then they're going to look at the photos that you have, say on Google, but also potentially on your website if they find your website. And then they're going to look at how recent your activity is. Oh, are you still in business? That kind of thing, right? What kind of stuff do you do? How do you respond to people? These are things they're all going to look at and check. And if you don't have those things, you lose points in their mind. So guys, they're not just asking, what do you say about yourself? They're asking, what does everyone else say about you? Now, look, I think you just need to do some very simple things to make sure that you can be verified online. One of the key ones I would definitely say is introduce a simple framework, right, as an anchor. Let's build the trust stack, right? That's what we'll call it, the trust stack. So what we've seen working with businesses is that trust online comes down to a few key layers, right? Just some key things. Number one is your reputation. That encompasses like your reviews, your ratings, kind of your volume and recency, right? That's your reputation. Your responsiveness is also another factor. So that'd be the second factor. Replying to reviews, engaging with your customers, and showing that you're present, available to be talked to. The third one is recency. Your recent posts, your updated info online, showing not just, how recent things are, like things are up to date, but also showing active signals. And then, of course, 4 is realness, right? Let's just say that. Your real photos, not just user generated or AI generated, I should say. AI generated photos or, those wonderful royalty-free sites where you can get royalty photos, which are great in a pinch, right? But you still need to replace real photos eventually. Real people, of course, and real interactions. You can still interact with AI, and that's as well, but it can't be canned responses like it was in the past, guys. If you have a template that you've been using for years, it's time to hang that up and start either responding yourself or B, get yourself hooked up to an AI that can help personalize and make it seem like they're talking to a real person. And then, of course, the last one, the most important one probably too, is consistency. Everything matches across the platforms. You're always continuing to do the things that you say you're going to do, yada, yada, yada. Guys, when all these things line up, people don't question you at that point, and when they don't question you, or when they do question you, or when these things don't line up, people hesitate 9 times out of 10. So the idea is to make them not hesitate. When they finally discover who you are, they get to know you even a little bit, and all these things, all these signals come through. Well, then you won't have the non-hesitation. You're going to basically have all these problems. So I think we talk about the trust stack, and how people are going to be, if you move forward with that, you're not going to have any problems, right? You're not going to have problems with people when they found you verifying you. Great. So where do these businesses kind of get it wrong very often? What are some of the common trip hazards, if you will? So this is where a lot of businesses kind of miss the mark, right? They focus only on ads. They ignore reviews. They don't respond to them. They post inconsistently. They're not posting on social media or regularly. And by the way, you can also post to your Google Business Profile, which is a very easy way to show consistency, by the way, in recent activity. And they also have outdated listings, and those listings, guys, you're not familiar with that, you need to talk to us. Listings are very, very important to show accuracy about how people can contact you on the internet. And of course, they also show no engagement. This is where businesses get very wrong. No engagement as well, right? Look, you can spend a lot of money and get people to look at you. We've established that. If you focus on ads, you put something in a magazine, you go online, do click funnels, all that wonderful stuff, right? People will look at you if you spend money. But if your digital presence doesn't back it up, doesn't back up who you are, they will never convert. Once the traffic hits you, they'll never convert. So, and here's the real problem, right? Let's layer AI into this now, because what we've been talking about is just people finding you, people noticing you, verifying you. This is where it gets really interesting. AI content is everywhere, right? And here's the problem. Fake reviews are now a concern, right? Template responses, big concern. That's why you use AI to help not have templated responses. And then, of course, there's always the fear of loss of authenticity because of certain things. Look, AI is making it easier to look like a real business, okay? Which means that customers are raising the bar for what real actually looks like. That's really important to remember. And on top of this, everything that we've just discussed, where the trust stack comes into play, what customers are actually checking, where businesses are getting it wrong, all of those things actually are not just solely in the territory of people. You are now dealing with the algorithms of, like, Google, Bing, Apple Maps, Yahoo, Super Pages, blah, 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 all these different websites, or your listings as well. All of those things are basically now viewing or trying to see you in the same light as people do. And that's what AI has also brought to the table. So what you have to do now is not just please the people. That's not the only way. Now you have to please the algorithms. And fortunately, AI is making it to where they basically like the same things. So it's making it easier in that regard, for once. But this is the shift I want people to really understand. The digital presence is no longer about promotion. It's not a PR stunt. Okay. It's about proof. It's about proof. Your online presence is your reputation before you ever even get the chance to speak to somebody. Why would you ignore that? Why? It's like ignoring what you need to do before you submit an application for employment. You do it all completely wrong and don't format it correctly, you're never going to get in front of a recruiter because it'll just be filtered out. They'll go bye-bye. You're basically doing the same thing for your business if you do not focus on how, at least spend some time on your digital presence. This is not marketing. This is digital presence. So if you're a business owner trying to figure out what to focus on, right, don't just ask, how do I get more attention? That's easy. Throw some ads out, you'll get attention. You'll get traffic. Okay. But start asking, does my business look trustworthy online? Because that's the difference between getting clicks and getting customers. That's it. That being said, I hope everybody understands that it is not solely in the hands of your digital presence that you need to convert people with. But it is probably the best assistant that you can have to help build digital presence. Look, the growing importance of credibility, it's not strange to think about, because when you think about how AI has come into the picture, right? It's thrown curveballs at everybody. It's difficult to trust what video you see sometimes now, right? Or AI generated images. I literally watched somebody change, of course, their, say a dress color or blouse color on their outfit, with just a quick prompt, and you can really tell much of a difference in what it had been altered or not, right? At least not with the naked eye. And as you guys know, I've been in video production and media production for a very long time, so I have a trained eye, and it's difficult for me. Not something that's going to be easy for anybody who doesn't have that critical eye. So I think it's very important that people remember that in the age of AI, trustworthiness is more important than ever. And that is exactly why digital presence is the way moving forward for your business to be able to claim their digital real estate. Because if you don't, the algorithms will not place you where people can find you. See, it's worse than just people finding you and knowing the right keywords, right? That's what used to really kind of exclusively you have to worry about when it came to, say, SEO, right? Search engine optimization. Now, you need more than that. You need the algorithms to trust you like a person would. And then they're going to show you. Do you see it now? Do you see how crazy this is? The algorithms, Google will not show you in a favorable light unless it trusts you. That's what you're dealing with right now. And if you don't give it the signals to trust, you won't show up. Having a website is not a marketing plan. Having a website is a great place to send traffic to. And if you want to do that, great. You can throw some ads up, you'll get traffic to your website. But if you want to be found on Google, throwing up ads is not going to help you. Not locally anyway. So if you're a local shop and you think that you're going to be able to spend money on ads and that's going to be the solution to all your problems, if you have enough money, it is. Enjoy your 4% turnaround, where you get 4% of all the money you spend actually turns into leads. That's a healthy ad campaign, by the way. For those who didn't know, 4%. So yes, you can spend enough money and get lots of things. But what you can't do is expect to get something for nothing. Now, you have to have an online presence for Google to actually show you under keywords now. It's that simple. And that's not just Google, that's every search engine. And now let's talk about ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all the LLMs, the large language models, right? That AI. Look, you want to show up in there? Those are all about credibility. They're worse than Google. They want to vet you. So this is why you need to write articles and stuff about things that you're very familiar with. It's not enough to just know it, guys. It's not enough to have a certificate, or degree. No, that doesn't prove anything to the search engines and the LLMs and ChatGPT. Doesn't prove anything to them. You need to have proof where they can see it online. So I think I've harped on that enough. So if you're taking anything from this, don't chase AI. Build your presence. Build your credibility. Be consistent. Guys, it's like when you do use AI, right, to support that, not, you can use that, you can use AI to support that, I should say, not replace it. Because at the end of the day, the businesses that win are the ones people trust. And that goes, of course, for the algorithms as well, and the LLMs and everybody else. Trust. That is the name of the game. Small businesses actually have the advantage right now because you are able to utilize these tools, in a way that makes it way more important, way easier to get noticed. The tools like artificial intelligence, it allows you to be bigger and badder than anything else, using that Cobra effect I like to talk about sometimes. So if your business owner trying to figure out what to do right now, make sure you ask those questions we mentioned. And of course, let us know if you have any questions as well. We're happy to answer. We know a lot about this. So this is Joe Wallace with TAF Solutions, helping you kind of cut through the noise and focus more on what actually moves the needle. All right, guys, you have a wonderful rest.